This is a program that I started very recently, and George Edgecombe Bar Association was kind enough to allow me to pilot the program through their organization, and I affectionately call it DAP. And DAP, go to the next screen. What's DAP? So, DAP can either be handshaking, pound hugging, fist pounding, or chest or fist bumping. It's an acronym for dignity and pride, or deserving all props. Or it's a program designed to take third-year law students through a rigorous preparation for legal practice in competitive positions, specifically law clerks, big law firms, and government agencies. And of course, this is a trick question because it's D, all of the above. I've designed DAP so that it's intensive year-long, and I say year-long, but it's really right now going to be between October and March, and it's designed specifically for diverse law students to support career building, internships, partnerships, entry-level positions at law firms and judicial clerkships, promote diversity and leadership, and most importantly, address the lack of diversity in the legal field by infusing the pipeline with highly qualified diverse law students that have undergone intensive training and professional development. And we're getting a lot of support for DAP. The Florida Bar funded their diversity grant through the George Edgecombe Bar Association to run the program. We also received a grant from the Bench Bar Fund of the Middle District of Florida because they support the program, particularly the writing workshop and promoting diverse students in applying for clerkships in Tampa. And we're seeking a partnership right now with the Hillsborough County Bar Association and the St. Petersburg Bar Association. So now that you know what DAP is, you might be wondering, why DAP? Why do we need a diversity access pipeline in 2018? Well, here's a newsflash. Maintaining diversity in the legal field is still a challenge, despite all the efforts being done and the strides that have been made. The first article I want to point out is from ABA magazine in March 2016. And the title of the article is "Minority Women Are Disappearing from Big Law, and Here's Why." When this article came out, it was circulated all over. All my friends who were partners at big law firms got wind of the article, and their partners and their co-workers would send them to them and ask them, is this true? Is this your experience? What's happening? And a lot of them said, yeah, the issues raised in the article resonated with them deeply. So let's fast forward to June 2018. We have the Florida Bar. Eugene Pettis, the former Florida Bar president, writes an article and he says, RX warning, quitting diversity efforts too soon may result in harmful relapse. And he had some great pictograms and statistics about what's happening in the law. Despite the increased number of women in law schools and graduating from law school and the steady influx of people of color and immigrants and people who are first generation college graduates or law school graduates coming out of law schools, when you look at the higher ranks of law firms and courts and other government agencies, it's not, they're not matriculating. They're not rising to those levels, and unfortunately a lot of them are leaving the law altogether. Another article in June 2018 from The Nation magazine. Law schools are failing students of color. And it talks about some of the same things. The students of color are coming in greater numbers than ever, but they're not getting everything that they need in order to be successful when they become lawyers. July 2018, Law 360 blog says minority lawyers on why they left big law. So 2 years later, after the ABA article, we're still having this conversation about why people who've gotten into big law are leaving. And then Fast Company, July 2018, schools are very diverse, so why aren't law firms? And then August 2018, this very month, from The Atlantic magazine, what it takes to be a trial lawyer if you're not a man. So you see the trend. Right? Diversity is still very much a big issue. Even though diverse law students and lawyers are here, there's still some very real obstacles and challenges to being successful, not only financially, but to rise up in the ranks and to maintain your positions, have influence, and not burn out, frankly. So DAP is designed to follow some research-backed strategies. There was a study done, Diversity Pipeline Programs in Legal Education Context, Research and a Path Forward by Cunningham and Steele, PhD. The Access Lex Institute funded the study, and it made very specific recommendations about what can be done if you start a diversity pipeline program in the law. And the first thing they said is you got to have motivation and break down some of the institutional barriers, such as low test scores and poor preparation for law school, by building student motivation through recognition. So DAP addresses that specifically because we talk about leadership, mentorship, time management. We're going to do some bar prep, we're going to do legal writing, etc. It says to provide academic support to students, which DAP will do from all the things I just mentioned. Develop mentoring, networking opportunities, which is a big part of what DAP's going to be. Right now, because we're piloting the program through GBA, you're going to get mentors through GBA and other lawyers who volunteer. But you're going to have a lot of great networking opportunities through the Georgia Edgecombe Bar Association by going to their one of their membership meetings, one of their board meetings, and there are other bar associations who are going to extend invitations to DAP students and students in general to come to their events. The study says collaboration between programs is very important. And DAP does that by not only giving you a mentor from a practicing attorney, but the DAP scholars will then mentor one of the students from Farrell or Franklin Middle Schools, which are two schools that the Georgia Edgecombe Bar Association has a partnership with specifically to mentor and to do tours at the courthouse and other places to encourage not only an ongoing relationship and general mentoring, but to have the students consider careers in the law. It says establish strong goals, which is a big part of DAP, very goal-oriented. We want to produce students who are going to come out and get big law firm jobs and qualify and compete for federal judicial clerkships, which are very, very competitive in Tampa. But because I have clerked for two different judges, I know exactly what they're looking for. I've worked at a big law firm and have lots of friends at big law firms, so I know what they're looking for. And I've participated in recruiting for both of those entities. So I have a good sense of what they're looking for and can give all the little secrets to the DAP scholars so they know how to get in. And then document the progress. So we are going to have lots of photos. You know, you get a photo shoot, you'll get an opportunity to write an article to submit to one of the bar journals, and you're going to have end of year presentations. And that is going to be great documentation to show the progress that DAP is making. So I just have some current legal pipeline programs as a sample, so you know that there's different kinds out there, and DAP is just one of the kinds. And it definitely leaves room for other organizations to step in and create pipeline programs for law students. The State Bar of Wisconsin has a diversity clerkship program, which I think is awesome, and would love to see the Florida Bar start something like that, especially as it aligns with their Leadership Academy for lawyers. They just have basically a student version. Just the Beginning, a pipeline organization, is an organization dedicated to primarily getting diverse law students and attorneys interested in clerkships, but it also has a broad sweep in trying to get everyone kind of interested in the law in general. And then you have the Diverse Attorney Pipeline Program, which is in Illinois, and that is my inspiration for DAP. They started, because of the same reason I'm starting. They saw a need and they saw a way to fill that need. So I encourage you to look into those programs just to have an idea of what's out there. But we are just one of the options that we're starting here in Tampa to get more diverse students into the pipeline and keep the pipeline going. So we're partnering with two schools, Stetson and Western Michigan University, Cooley School of Law. And right now it's only open to those two law schools. There'll be 2 students from each school. And here's the part you've been waiting for, you and DAP. What are you going to get? So each scholar gets a mentor, and you get a bar prep scholarship, $1,500 at the end of the program. And you get free admission to affiliate-sponsored writing, mock interview, and other professional development seminars. We have a great legal writing session we're going to have by using Brian Garner's resources, and he is the preeminent expert scholar on legal writing. He literally wrote the book, as the editor of the Black's Law Dictionary. And then each scholar has to demonstrate a commitment to promoting diversity, community service, and leadership. And DAP is dedicated to providing a strong academic and professional foundation, networking, and references. You get the reference from me once you complete the program, and bar prep and writing course. And the bar prep is really important because I am a bar exam grader. I've actually graded over 700 bar exam essays. I've written 5 multiple choice questions, and I have pre-tested the questions, so I know what the bar examiners are looking for in the bar exam. So that's going to be another little secret I'll share with you in the Inside Scoop. So empowerment is a big part of DAP. We want to empower our DAP scholars to successfully transition from law school into the legal profession, because what you're going to learn is there are 2 very different worlds. Law school is about learning how to think like a lawyer, and law practice is actually acting like a lawyer and managing your time and managing clients and managing your emotions and all the demands that are going to come your way. So law school is great for a lot of things, but there is definitely a bit of a gap, and so we want to help you prepare for that gap early so that you can get a head start. And we want you to take an active role in diversity efforts by volunteering through the program, promoting diversity in any way that you can, and also speaking to middle and high school students, pre-law students, students who are maybe 1Ls in your school, to help give them a heads up and pay it forward. So the mentoring aspect is really important. I've touched on that a little bit. You will receive a mentor, and you will also act as a mentor so that you understand what it's like to be on both sides of that equation. There are very different actions you have to take when you're mentoring someone versus being a mentor. And there are lots of great resources that can show you how to mentor someone younger than you, how to be mentored by someone older than you, and how to mentor based on things like generational differences, right? Because you all probably millennials, so, and you've heard a lot of things about millennials, and and not all positive. And I disagree. I think millennials are an awesome generation, and they're going to lead the legal industry into the 21st century, 22nd century. It's going to change the look of the legal industry, make it more amenable to having family and a social life and enjoyment in the work, and not just spitting out a bunch of work. And also it's going to embrace a lot more different styles, cultures, languages, and just overall improve the legal profession. But my generation and generations before me have to help usher in that change. So that's what I'm hoping I get to do, and that you will learn through the mentoring. So the leadership aspect, as I discussed before, we're looking to collaborate with the Hillsborough County Bar Association, and George Edgecombe Bar Association is our partner in this program for the pilot this year, 2018 to 2019. And they have lots of great committees and events that the DAP scholars can choose to get involved in and develop their leadership skills. And then there's a volunteer aspect. You will have a community service project that you get to direct as a DAP scholar. We'll do it together as a group. It'll be probably a one-day event, so it won't be too time-consuming, but it'll reinforce the idea that we're always giving back to the community in many different ways, not just mentoring, not just providing great service, but also being servant leaders. The academic support is going to include the writing workshop I mentioned earlier by Brian Garner. We're going to have a bar prep workshop, and that's going to be through different sessions that can be done virtually. And the bar prep scholarship you get at the end of the year, the $1,500, will be a great way to make sure you don't have to worry about preparing for the bar. You can just focus on studying for the bar exam and passing it the first time. One of the great aspects of that I really love is that a lot of the meetings are going to be virtual or available virtually. So I do have it set up that we have 2 meetings a month. But if you're not able to make one, or you're traveling or what have you, you can just log in, just like how we're doing it now virtually, and participate in the panel discussion or the meeting. I already have 2 panelists for the clerkship module, and then a couple people interested in mentoring, and one of them is going to be in California when he's doing it. So it's going to be awesome that we're going to still be able to get great information from him, and he doesn't have to be physically present. And because it's Stetson and Cooley students and you're in two different parts of Tampa Bay, we want to make sure everyone has access and that we'll meet in a neutral location and have everything available virtually. And we all know crossing that bridge in the morning can be tough because I have to do it every day. But the virtual meetings is going to help with that. So the qualifications to be a DAP scholar, I've defined diversity very broadly. So we're looking for members of racial and ethnic groups or populations that have been historically underrepresented in the legal profession. And that's going to mean a lot of different things. First time college graduate, some people, they're the first ones to graduate from high school from their family. I'm the first one to graduate from law school. My parents are immigrants. I'm black. I'm a woman. I grew up, under the poverty line. So I meet a lot of these different groups that are underrepresented, but maybe you meet just one or two things. But I don't want anyone to feel limited, like they can't apply because they see diverse and they think it doesn't apply to them. Please apply to the program. I'd love to meet you and talk with you. And we want to meet as many people as possible during the interview process because I love meeting new people and students. And if you're really interested and you don't end up getting a spot as an official scholar, maybe we can work something out. I don't know. The scholars must commit to an in-person interview, attendance at all of the events with exceptions on an as-needed basis. You have to complete that article for submission to one of the bar journals. You're not required to have it actually published, but just creating it is going to be a great experience for you, and it might get published, which would be awesome, on your resume. And you'll have a writing sample, so that'll be an extra plus. And then the end of year presentations at the graduation, and you have to serve on one of JIPA's committees. And like I said, they have great events throughout the year, so you'll be able to choose which one. And I have an anticipated schedule of events. You see, like I said, it's a couple of meetings every month, and then there's some other voluntary opportunities. I encourage the students to take as many opportunities as possible, but I also know that students have to work and they have differing schedules, so I don't want to hamper anyone from participating in DAP because they have different schedules. There's going to be lots of opportunities to join and participate, so just have a sense that between October and March we'll be pretty active, and then in late April, JIPA has their scholarship banquet, and that's when you'll be honored for your $1,500 bar scholarship. So if you want to be a scholar, apply by August 31st, 2018. You can contact me at diversityaccesspipeline@gmail.com. And the interviews are scheduled for September 22nd, 2018 in the morning, downtown Tampa. And I'd love to see you there. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.